Betsy's World and a Fab Life Over 40.
Hey, Bob Bales here with the Traveling Fool.
And Bob and I want to tell you all about our recent visit to Villa Rica, Georgia. And we have some really special guests with us today. We have Melissa, Joey, and Randy Muller. And we have Alicia from Evans Barbecue. Melissa, Randy, and Joey are with Uncorked on Main. And we also have a very special guest, Sharon DuPont from Visit Villa Rica. And Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, we recently went to this place, and I had never heard of Villa Rica, Georgia. But Betsy tells me that it's and so I don't know how you even found this place. How did you find it, Betsy?
From a visit to Travel South, and I met one of Sharon's representatives from Villa Rica, and we sat down and had a long conversation. And I had also met the tourism person for Visit Georgia, and they referred me back to Sharon when Sharon took over at Visit Villa Rica.
Well, I'm glad we went because it's not that far out of Atlanta. It's basically just a good afternoon drive to go out there and see everything from Atlanta.
Absolutely. 35 minutes.
Yeah, and I don't know if that many people actually go out there from Atlanta, maybe because they don't know all the great stuff that's there. But not only did they discover gold in Georgia, and we had a blast at that place. But they
Yes,
have
we did.
really neat stuff historical wise, and just what they're doing in town to try and revitalize tourism and the Main Street project and all that other stuff going on.
I personally had found that the real true gift in Villa Rica is the culinary gift. Some of the stuff that y'all are doing is amazing. And on that note, I would like to bring in Alicia from Evans Barbecue.
Hi, good
Hi, Alicia.
afternoon.
How
Hey,
are
Alicia.
you?
Sorry, we had a car passing. I'm outside. It's great to see you.
You got all that major
Bob.
traffic running through
Hi,
town there.
Betsy.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi, Bob.
How you doing?
Good,
So,
good.
Alicia, I'm
Yes.
really, really curious. I dug in and did some research after I got home, and now I want to know all about you and Michael's background because I had no idea you came from New York City.
Yes. We are from the South. I was born here. He's from North Carolina. I was raised in Dallas, Texas, moved to North Carolina. And then when I was 21 and he's 5 years older, we took off to New York. So he's a CIA graduate, went to Culinary Institute up in Hyde Park, up in Poughkeepsie, and worked for 9 years at the 21 Club. And I worked
Wow.
under several celebrity chefs in order to put myself through college.
So, you're really a true Southern girl.
Yes, yes. Born right
So,
here, Georgia.
so what brought y'all back to Villa Rica? Was it family?
Yes, we have some family that's up in New York, but we had Evan and we stayed in New York for about a year and a half, and then we decided that it was time to relocate, come back down, get more space, and New York is I absolutely adore New York, but it's very hard with a small child.
Yes, it is.
Super
So,
expensive too.
yeah, it definitely is expensive. So,
Yes,
is barbecue really going back to your roots, to those southern roots?
it's absolutely. It's by far out of all that Michael, he's classically trained. Um, Out of everything that he can cook, there's nothing he'd rather do more than smoke meat for long periods of time on a smoker.
That is a human activity, Alicia. It really
Yes,
is. So
yes, absolutely.
I'll tell you what I appreciated about your food. It obviously I grew up in Virginia and I now live in Florida and I've spent my fair share of time in Carolina. And though I love North Carolina, I don't
Yes.
like North Carolina barbecue. And
No,
no, I don't, I'm not a fan of vinegar. And so
vinegar based, right?
I loved oh my gosh, I'm still talking about those barbecue egg rolls. They were
Good,
phenomenal. They were
good.
absolutely phenomenal.
Thank
So,
you.
so this Southern girl loves that barbecue.
I know when we were there, you had a
Pardon
pretty
me?
crowd of people coming through the drive-through. I mean, you get a lot of folks coming through there all the time.
Yes, here, I'll show you right now.
Oh my gosh.
And
Wow.
you got people lined, and
Hi,
the,
how are you? Good to see you.
the food's great.
We're
But what do you,
extremely fortunate, especially with as many restaurateurs who have closed their doors and will not
Mhm.
reopen with this pandemic.
yeah,
I firmly believe it's many of the relationships that we made. And over the years, we've been here almost 9 years. And people like Janet Chumley, Sharon DuPont from Main Street have just been amazing in really putting forth an effort to support small, locally owned family businesses. And the restaurateurs within our community have just been, we always try and support each other. People can't eat at Evans every day. So I tell people, go to Jerry's Gourmet Burgers, go to Gabe's, go to Uncorked, Olive Tree, Chat and Chew. And we
I
all
love
just
that.
there's a great sense of community here with people trying to help each other out during any difficult times,
I
whether
think
it's
that's
running
really
out of
important.
something, product, or whatever the case may be.
I think that's great. And that tells me that really Villa Rica functions as a community and not just, isolated pockets of businesses. And that's what I like to see. Um, I was majorly blown away. And if you don't mind, I really want people to hear straight from your mouth why all of the art and what it did for you during the pandemic.
The art.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, um, during this whole time, we kind of went through a transition a while back at Evans, and there just kind of were some people who didn't need to be here, and so I started painting. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So near mental breakdown is the way, very eclectic, kind of hodgepodge of everything. Um, I painted all the buildings, brought in every type of, we have Buddhas, we have crosses, we have paintings that, on our wall: be kind, EQ, love, justice, good vibes only. Um, and it's amazing, a lot of times the staff has come up here on their days off, and I'll drive by and I'll pop in and see one of them just painting on the wall, like when we're closed on a Sunday or a Monday. And we have our peace tree, and we just want everybody to feel welcome, included, and enjoy the crew's hard work and amazing food. Barbecue is very hard.
Hmm.
My
It is.
husband and his kitchen crew, lugging meat constantly from the smokehouse into the building. Our layout, as you know, there's like 7 different little barbecue shacks.
It's a lot of work. It really, really is. And you guys are doing such an incredible job. If you could sum up the reason that people should come to Evans in 5 sentences, what would it be?
You're totally putting me on the spot with this. I'm so nervous. I've never done one of these.
You're
I don't
doing
even
a
know where
great
to look
job.
in the camera. We just want people to come here, enjoy themselves. I speak to people every day throughout the day who are picking us, whether they're celebrating a graduation, a birthday, bringing friends. We have people who come here after they've attended a funeral. Some that come after they've been through chemotherapy, and it's just
Wow.
Amazing, and the gratitude that we have and that we also have for our staff. They work incredibly hard, but our guests are they're amazing. They genuinely will stop me on the street and thank me for the service of our servers, the food, the preparation. And they don't have to do that. They could pick anywhere to go. I know this is way more than 5 sentences, but
it's okay.
So we're just thankful, grateful, and just hope people that come and continue to. It's great right now because people can sit outside. We sectioned off the back on the inside for during the winter because we're about to lose our outside dining because of the cold. So we greatly appreciate y'all as well. It was so nice to meet some traveling foodie, and I love the traveling full name and Betsy's World. So
well, you're too
meet
kind.
both of you.
You are too kind.
It's things like this that really help small businesses stay afloat during this very trying time.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, I think that we're in for a little bit of that. But one of the things to play on what you're doing, I appreciated the fact that I knew that it was healthy, that it was clean, it was sanitary. And those are things I think that people need to know as well. So, Bob, yes. Any last questions?
Yeah, I think my internet keeps going in and out. But what I was saying is not only is the food great, but it's a fun place to eat. A lot of people come there because it is just a fun place for families and people to go for lunch. There was only one thing. I ordered unsweetened iced tea, and I thought they were going to call the police on me. But other than that, in fact, the police did show up for lunch, and I had to kind of look around for a minute. But
right, yeah, when we were in New York, they don't serve unsweet up there typically.
Yeah. Yeah,
we're looking forward
to. I got stories, but other than that, the food was great.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Alicia. Bob, any other questions? And then I think we ought to pull Sharon in.
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead and get her in here.
All right, Alicia, I'm going to bring Sharon in and the Muller family.
Okay, do I stay on?
Hey, hello.
Hi, y'all.
Hey.
Sharon, we started with Alicia, and now I want you to. Now we need to introduce you. This is Sharon DuPont. Sharon is the head and face of Visit Villa Rica. Sharon, let us know who you are.
I'm Sharon DuPont. I'm the tourism manager for Villa Rica Convention and Visitors Bureau.
And I think you've got a couple of people with you. Who's with you?
I have some fun folks with me. I got Randy Muller.
Hello.
Melissa Muller Garrett. And Joey Muller. They're my wine folks.
Yes. Absolutely. Alicia, when I leave here, I'm going to get some peach cobbler.
Hi.
Now look, y'all are not being fair. Y'all are making me hungry, Joey. Now stop.
We'll come
I was
back.
gonna run over there and get some egg rolls.
Oh, that sounds good.
Now, okay. See, now we're talking way too much about food, and now my tummy is saying I need barbecue and I need peach cobbler. Um, so I have to tell you guys, I was really, really impressed. I did not know this when we visited, but I know it now. Y'all only source local Georgia wines, and I did not know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When we first started, we have our own vineyard and our own wine, and we wanted to support the Georgia wine industry. So early on, we decided that we were going to focus on Georgia wines and Georgia craft beers. So that's kind of been our niche.
What
So
got you guys started to, what gave you the inspiration to start Uncorked?
So oddly enough, there was a radio commercial about growing grapes on small acreage. And I've always enjoyed growing things. I was talking to my dad, and we decided to do it. And we planted our vineyard in 2012. And then we decided we needed somewhere to sell our wine. So we decided to open Uncorked and set to sell our wine and some other Georgia wines in 2013.
13.
And in addition to selling the wines, I mean, you have a pretty good menu there.
We do. So 2013, we opened just to sell wine. We were just doing tastings. It was just strictly a tasting room. We have grown over the years. In 2016, we actually moved to a bigger location. We added craft beer and wine and an event facility. So you
oh
can,
wow.
yeah, so you can use our space. We have space in the back of our facility for private events. We've had weddings, baby showers, bridal parties. We've done a lot of different events with Ed Uncorked. And then in Christmas parties, lots of Christmas parties for corporations. And then we also decided in 2016 that to complement the wine and the craft beer that we should open a restaurant. And so at that time we started looking for a chef and put the kitchen in and opened a restaurant.
They're being modest too.
So I really have to know.
They help the city a lot with meetings. I mean, we can have a city meeting here at any time, event.
Yeah.
They do so much for the community. The different organizations like Art Coalition and all, they really help out a lot with this with local events.
Yeah, I think when we moved and opened the new location in 2016, we really wanted Villa Rica lacks having like a cultural center, a cultural arts area. And so we wanted to be able to offer that here with local artists, local musicians. I can't hear her.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to know how you basically who designs your menu? Who comes up with these innovative ideas?
As far as like the dishes, the actual food
Yes,
course,
the food.
that would be our chef. So our current chef, we have Chef Lindsay Owens, and she came to us in October of last year. So she's been with us for a little over a year now. And so she's just an amazing chef. She's got a lot of experience. She's worked in Austin. She's worked in Minneapolis, Atlanta. And we kind of stole her out of Atlanta and brought her out to Villa Rica. And she's just done an amazing job of just preparing some. I tell people all the time, they're like, your food's amazing. I'm like, I can't take any credit for the food. That's completely our chef. She handles everything in the kitchen. So it's all on her. She does a great job.
I loved the innovative presentations, and it was Southern, obviously, but it was presented in such an upscale way, and the wine paired perfectly with the meals. I was just amazed because I love good food and I adore good wine. So when you can actually meld the two together, which I find very rare where I live here in Florida, it's a real treat for me. And I loved every minute and I love that meal. I just it makes me salivate thinking about it. So now I want to know what Randy's role is.
Randy's
Because he's
role.
the quiet one.
Yeah, I'm just a quiet one. I'm just I'm the daddy. I'm the helper. I wash the dishes and
I don't believe that for a minute, y'all.
I prune the vines, feed the dog. Yeah, I do all the good stuff.
The
What's
official
the real
breeder.
skinny Joey and Melissa?
He's always fun.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
definitely. But very supportive. So,
Yes.
Yeah. But truly, he really does wash the dishes. That's like his favorite thing to do when he comes up here on Friday and Saturday, to wash
Yeah.
the dishes.
Yeah, if we go back there and wash the glasses, more of the glasses than the dishes, he's like, "Quit doing my job."
Yeah.
I was about to do that. That's my job.
Yeah.
Now I have to go sit at the bar and talk to everybody.
He definitely likes to.
That's true.
Yeah.
So y'all have some exciting news, I think. Are you ready to reveal what the next step is?
We could probably do that.
We can make an announcement, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're close.
We're close.
If you're close, can you sort of share what the next phase of the Uncorked and Muller family story will be?
Well, we've been having our wine made by a winery in South Georgia, and we went through the federal government and got our approval for a winery at Uncorked here in Villa Rica. The city has already given us approval. Now we're waiting on the state for the approval so we can have our own winery and make our own wine here in Villa Rica.
That is,
Great news.
I'm like y'all. I'm waiting with bated breath because I've already told Sharon I have to come back for that, and I have to come back. I really want to come, and I know it sounds silly. I want to stomp some grapes.
We did that 2 years ago at the harvest.
Well, I saw that, and I looked at Jim and said, I really want to go and stomp some grapes. And he's like, well, I know where you could probably do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If Lucia Ball can do it, we can do it.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's usually in September. So
I'm putting that on my list. So don't be surprised if I'm like a bad penny and I keep showing up, because I really did enjoy my time there. And y'all have a really cool downtown. I mean, it is just happening. And I love the parklets. I love what you guys have done in front of Uncorked. And we've sort of danced around it, but there's a story behind why you named the restaurant what you named it. And at that, I'm just going to leave that subject pause there and let one of y'all fill it in.
I'll let Melissa tell it.
Okay. So we moved into the space. We have a wall behind our bar. Had doors that just kind of went to nothing. That was like our intention was to put the restaurant there, but we wanted to do it in phases. So grow conservatively. So we would get customers that would ask, "What's going on the other side of the doors?" And we're like, "Well, there are we have plans. They're in the works." And so when we decided to put the restaurant in and move forward and name it, my dad said, "What would be a good name?" And I'm like, "No, I mean, we were trying to come up with all kinds of cute fork and wine and just fun names." And he was like, "We should just call it The Other Side." And it just stuck.
And it works.
And it works. And that's, yeah, so The Other Side at Uncorked
is our dining room.
It's our dining room and our little dining facility.
Well, it's not so little, but one of the things I love about it is that y'all kept the historical aspect of it with the brick walls.
Yes.
Oh, I love the brick.
That's my favorite.
I love the brick. Yeah, when we moved into the building, the walls were actually painted. The bricks were painted. And so we had those sandblasts to expose those natural bricks back open.
And if you look above us, the ceiling tiles, They were actually brought in from a bank that was built in the 20s, I believe. That was here when we moved in. The building was in rough shape, but the ceiling tiles were here. And when we saw them, we were like, we have to have those, save them no matter what. And we were hoping to have enough for the whole place, but we didn't. So we just accented it right down the center of the room.
I love it. I was just finishing up an article earlier in the week, and I was explaining what my takeaway was from Uncorked and the Other Side, and I said it's an intimate, warm space that makes you feel at home no matter where you're from, and I really appreciate that. Bob, do you have any questions for the Muller family?
Well, I was going to ask you something. You said, when I was there, you mentioned that almost every one of these business owners does that. Alicia does it. Wesley over at the Gold Mine Museum. I mean, it seems like everybody works together. All the other businesses thrive, which is something you don't often see.
Did you get that? I think he was talking to you.
I didn't hear that.
About how all
the businesses work together.
Oh yeah, we wanted to keep it. We want to keep it family oriented. It's a community, and in order for everybody to make it, I think you have to work together. And support each other. And I mean, we love the Mullers anyway, so it's just like it's easy to work with them. It's easy to work with Evans, and Wesley.
He's Wesley.
He's Wesley.
We're hoping to use some of Wesley's honey to make a mead wine with whenever we get our winery open.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And we've had that conversation with Wesley already.
And he's going to add more bees next year so that he can produce more honey. I watched him Wednesday. I watched him harvest the last batch that he had. It was only like 3 frames. So it, wasn't a whole lot, but it was just very interesting to just watch it. He put on a lab coat and I got so tickled. I turned around and he's putting on this white lab coat, right? And so I picked up my phone to take a picture, but I was laughing so hard. And I was like, wait, just don't move. Let me get this out first. So I'm going to have to send you that picture. I snapped a picture of him in his lab coat.
I need that picture, Sharon. Send it to me, please.
Even the city manager just went, oh my God. Because we never know what we're going to get with Wesley. We just know it's going to be interesting.
Oh, but you know what? What a gem the gold mine is. And Sharon, we've got some questions for you, but I'm not going to ask a whole lot. I really just want you to tell our friends why Villa Rica needs to be on their radar and why you want them to come visit. And so I'm going to just turn it straight over to you.
Well, it's a hidden gem. I mean, everybody thinks that gold was discovered in Dahlonega, Georgia, and it wasn't. The first gold rush was in Villa Rica. And you can actually pan for gold and gems at the Gold Museum. You got the historic aspect of downtown. A lot of the buildings are historic. And it's just a beautiful place to visit. There's always going to be something to do. You don't realize it until you get here, the different things you can actually do. And your close access to downtown and other small cities with a lot of other historic aspects as well. But that Gold Museum is a gem. It's a jewel. And we have an amphitheater downtown. We have events in the summertime, concerts. And I mean, people get out here and they just dance. They just dance. We have the West Georgia Jazz Festival in April, 2 summer concerts during the summer. We have a Gold Rush Festival in September. We celebrate that history of the Gold Rush. We put everything we can into letting everybody know, hey, before there was the 49ers, there was gold in Villa Rica, Georgia.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you.
I was gonna say my internet keeps messing up, but I don't know if you've covered it or not. But you guys do a lot there on the weekends. You've always got something going on, it seems
We
like.
always got something going on the weekends. It's from April pretty much through to the end to December. We just finished Thrill at the Mill last weekend. It actually landed on Halloween this year. So
Wow.
we have a zombie run. People literally dress in costume and run
Run a 5K in
run a
zombie costume.
5K. Yes, they run a 5K. And then in December, we'll have the reindeer run, and they'll dress in their holiday costumes and they'll run a 5K. And then we have the mistletoe market. So there's always something going on from April through the end of the year. This stuff's happening at this amphitheater out here. And it helps the downtown because we want to bring people in to come to eat at Encore and at Evans and Lost Cowboys and the Olive Tree, and Gabe's. We want them to come to the restaurants. So as long as we can keep having great entertainment at the amphitheater, I think it's going to just help our businesses, and that's our goal, is to help our businesses. And we're doing a shop small campaign now to go through the whole month of November. So if they eat at the restaurants or shop at one of the boutiques, they can save their receipt, staple it to an application. They can win $250, but
Wow.
also the business will win $250. So we're always trying to do something just to, support our small businesses.
So I'm assuming, maybe incorrectly, that Uncorked is providing all the wine and beer for the festival?
No,
Not yet.
no. So
y'all need to fix that, because
Well-
that's a natural flow.
we do truly, just like Alicia said, truly have a great partnership in the community. And so while we're here and we're able to offer food, we do have another local restaurant, Olive Tree, and they are actually alcohol. They have alcohol catering license, so they actually they partner with Main Street and they provide the alcohol for those festivals. And it's just something they've done for a few years. It's not something that we really want to it's their thing, and we appreciate that. We definitely are a community of support here, so we wouldn't want to take that away from them.
I love that, because what you just told me was that y'all are partnering together
Right.
to build Villa Rica, and that's important.
And it's getting better because the entertainment district just got passed last month.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Okay, so tell us about that.
well, they can come to Uncork and buy a glass of wine, and they'll be able to walk around with it. They can come to the amphitheater to an event with their wine. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. So it's still a partnership. We
Yes.
still, Olive Tree will be able to go into the mill, to the amphitheater, and sell the alcohol. But if someone wants to come and have a wine slushy or a good glass of Georgia wine, they can come down here and get it, and then take it there as well. So just
That's a great
again, that community.
partnership.
yeah.
Or if they want to get a glass of wine or beer and walk next door to the antique store,
Yep,
they
they
can walk
can do
over
it.
there and shop with their glass of wine and beer.
Yes.
That's
We're
awesome.
excited. We're really excited about that.
That's awesome.
For
Bob, any last questions for them?
No, I mean, you probably covered it because my internet kept going in and out. But now, Villa Rica is also part of the Bean Street project, right?
Yes, we are certified Main Street. Mm-hmm.
Now, what is that? How does that differ, or what does that do for you guys?
But one, it brings us some great recognition, and we actually won Main Street of the Month. Was it August?
I think it was
In August, we won Georgia Main Street of the Month. It brings great recognition. There's a lot to go into it, to keep the certification. We have a design committee. We have a Main Street board, which Melissa is a part of. What's it? Main board.
We have design
promotions,
economic
and
development,
economic
or
vitality. Yeah, so there's different portions of it that keeps things going here and promoting and coming up with ideas to keep things fun and exciting here.
Yeah.
That's
what
awesome.
The future for Villa Rica as far as the downtown area. What do you think is going to happen over the next year or two?
In the next year, I would say it's going to be longer than that.
Yeah, I think Villa Rica, the community as a whole, the Main Street, just the businesses, the community, the citizens, they definitely have goals and plans. We've done definitely done a lot of strategic planning for the city and the community. So we have long-term goals.
Yeah.
The next year or two, you know, we'd love to see a few more businesses come into downtown. You know, we definitely highlighted the types of businesses we'd like to see, things that people in the community would like to have in our downtown. Making sure that, you know, Villa Rica is walking, walkability in downtown is very important to the community. So those are things that are at the top of the list that the city is looking at making improvements on.
And we've started some construction on Butterballs, the service station that's to be the welcome center.
Oh, wow.
They actually budgeted some money for us this year, and they've already started some demolition. So hopefully next year, in another year, we'll be in Butterballs.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. We'll have the wayfaring signs should be up, the directional signage. Mm-hmm. Those should be up in the next year. And then, you know, in the long-term plan is to just kind of get the downtown as a city center, you know, as a square and
a destination.
Destination, absolutely. A destination.
Absolutely. And you know what? We've talked about that before. So yes, it does need to be a destination, not just a let's do a day drive. Do you know what I mean?
All right.
Not that I'm discounting that, because I think that that's important, but I want to see Villa Rica as a destination, as an end point.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things that is helping with our destination kind of epicenter,
Mm-hmm.
there are also about 4 other wineries in the area. And we're working on, through the Winery Association of West Georgia, creating and the Georgia wine producers, creating a West Georgia wine trail.
Awesome.
And with Georgia Grown, we're looking at doing the Highway 27 Georgia Grown Trail as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's
nice.
that'll be big for us. It's an agricultural.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really going to help us.
I love that. I think that those are such incredible helps. I had an opportunity in January of this year to head up to St. Simon's, and I spent a weekend with some of the Georgia Grown people at the King and Prince, and that was an amazing, eye-opening meeting. That, you know, I knew that there was a lot of Georgia grown things, but I didn't realize how big Georgia agriculture actually is. And so I'm so excited for that. That is going to be amazing.
We're looking forward to being a part of that.
Bob, anything else? And then I'd like to bring Wesley in. He's been waiting patiently, I might add.
Yeah, let's get him in here.
All right.
Is he there?
I added him. Wesley, are you there?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear us? And we can't see
hear
you.
Okay, I'm trying to do this on the phone, so bear with me.
Put your white coat on.
Y'all know he's never gonna live that down, don't you?
Never.
I heard all about that white coat. So.
All right, Wesley, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not getting you in our live stream, but that's okay. We don't have your face, but we're still going to talk. So, Bob, I'm going to turn the Gold Museum segment over to you.
Well, Wesley is not only the director of the Gold Museum, he's probably the biggest champion. I mean, I could tell that when I was there, just talks about everything about the history gold and the history of that part of Georgia. But what brought you to that position, Wesley?
Well, I had this is my kind of second life. In another life, I was a park ranger in Florida, and I was transitioning out of that. I had some health issues, and so when I saw that this was open application here, I jumped on it, and they liked what they saw. I've always been really interested in mines and geology and stuff like that, so it was a perfect fit for me. And I have a history background as well, so I feel like it. Everybody got something out of the deal. When I came up here, so.
Now, you also do something besides educate everybody that Georgia was the place where they discovered gold, and Villa Rica was the place in Georgia they discovered it. You also have kind of like a little side hobby going on there that's turned into almost a little business. What got you doing that? Yeah,
I actually owe Sharon a bottle of honey right this minute, so I'm already one bottle behind.
You raise bees at the mine. I mean, what in the world got you started raising bees?
Well, so part of what I have a very particular philosophy when I approach teaching history or getting people engaged with the subject. And really what you have to do is you have to have a way of relating a subject. And it doesn't matter what it is, but you have to have a way of relating that subject to something that everybody understands. So I can sit up here and lecture you about history all day long, and you might be entertained for the first 3.5 minutes, but having something that you can see and touch and taste and feel is a totally different experience. So not only do we try to do conservation here, we've got the forest that we manage and everything else. This is a way for us to give back to the environment in terms of pollinators, but also it produces something that you can see, touch, taste, and feel. And that's extremely valuable when you have school groups coming in that are essentially, a lot of these kids are completely disconnected from their food source. And so when they see us up there working with the bees and they can smell that very unique smell, and Sharon can probably tell you about that too, that really unique smell that comes out of the hive, it's a personal experience. It brings nature into a meaningful relationship with you. And that's a powerful, valuable thing. It's marketable, but it's also, a good thing to do.
So, Wesley, Bob just had to dip out real quick. Let me see if I can add it back. Here he is. Okay, Bob, did you hear the tail end of what Wesley was sharing?
I got the majority of it, and then my internet went wonky again. But
okay, so I know you've got more questions.
Now, here's something a lot of people don't realize. When you go to some of these gold mines around the country and everything, they're like, "Oh yeah, we pulled out several 100 million tons of gold or whatever in this place." But how much gold is still in that gold mine?
The estimation is, well, they don't have an exact figure and so we're dealing with an estimate, but the bulk of the gold that was ever in our mine is still there. And the reason for that is because it's difficult to extract. So you have a situation where the gold here it's finer than baby powder. It's like flour almost. And to really make it a profitable operation, you have to use chemicals and heavy machinery. And in the time period that we're talking about, that's just not a possibility. They were getting the big stuff because it was the limits of the technology at the time. Now, if we were to decide to mine gold here, we could start it up again, but we would have to use cyanide leaching. We'd have to use mercury, and the EPA would be on me within minutes. And it would just be it's still possible. The gold is still there, but it wouldn't be legally possible.
Right. That's the thing. You're sitting on probably several $100 million worth of gold that you can't get to it because it's not feasible to get it out of the ground.
Right. I mean, you could get it. It would take you 200,000 years to pan it all out, but it's definitely there. I mean, we ran an experiment where we processed some dirt right out of our front yard, and we're able to get some gold dust and then put it on display. I mean, so it's there. It's not hidden. It's just impossible to get without using deadly chemicals and heavy machinery. So
yeah, it also becomes almost cost prohibitive. But I mean, you're not making near as much by the time you have to pay all the money just to get it out of the ground. But
right, the assay for our site, the assay for our site is like 66.5 tons, which means for every 66.5 tons of rock, you'd get 1 ounce of gold. And at the price of still fuel today, I mean, it would cost you. We sat down and did the math one time, and it was like $17.50 you'd lose for every dollar of gold you got out of the ground. So it can be done, but why on earth would you do that to yourself? I mean, it'd be easier to do anything really if you're going to try and make money.
Yeah, it's cheaper just to go buy the gold somewhere else almost. Right,
exactly. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But you're doing a lot of really neat stuff, not only educating kids and bringing in some projects and stuff, but you're doing a lot of really neat things. And you have, of course, the festival every year. But what is on the horizon that you guys are doing that you're looking forward to doing here in the near future?
I think we might have lost Wesley.
Hang on a second.
Rich,
Oh,
your question?
on my phone. Hang on.
Well, I know he's got some plans there for things in the future. He's revamping some of the museum, but I'm a huge buff, and every time I tell somebody that when
we can hear you, Wesley.
And I was saying, I'm a huge history buff. Whenever I go somewhere,
hang on a minute, Bob. He can hardly hear.
Oh, technology's great.
Yes, it is.
You there, Wesley?
Yes, is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
And you can hear
I'm
us?
sorry, what was your question?
No, I was saying that I'm a huge history buff, and every time I go somewhere, I tell people that, and they're like, "Oh, we have a really nice museum you have to look at." And I like museums. Unfortunately, most of them are boring. Now, yours isn't boring because you've made it to where it tells a story, it's interactive, and it draws you into it. And you've got some plans for your museum. What do you have coming up in the future? What are you doing to revamp it?
We basically took the design, the floor plan of the museum, and split it into 3 parts. And this January, February, we're going to start working on the 3rd part. It's going to bring in a lot of natural history. We're going to be also increasing the space we've got devoted to the bees, which is everybody has enjoyed it. Even the folks that are deathly terrified of bees, it seem to be interested in the process and what we do with them. So we've already renovated 2/3 of the museum. We got another 1/3 left to go, and then we're also going to direct a lot of our attention outside onto our trails, things of that nature. So we don't want it to be, it should never sit stagnant. So if you go to a museum and the displays and the verbiage and everything never changes, year to year, decade to decade, it's kind of pointless. So if you can come into our facility and we can have different exhibits and we can change, even if it's a simple thing such as changing the layout or the way you go through the museum, then it becomes more valuable and accessible. And it helps us with that, ultimate goal of making it an immersive experience that someone can enjoy and learn from at the same time.
Right. Yeah, and that's I think when you do what you guys have done there, really draws people in. It's someplace that you want to come back to. It's not like, oh, I went to this museum a year or two ago and it was okay. No, yours is a place where they want to come back to because things are changing and you do have a lot of interactive things to do. And you've got the trails and you've got the gold mining where you can pan for gold. And there's something for everybody in the whole family. And it's a really neat place.
Yeah, and some of our the internal exhibits are not really. We do a lot of things that are outside. So if you come hiking here in spring, it's an entirely different experience than if you come hiking here in fall. So it may be on the same trail, you may take the exact same route, but all of the vegetation will be different. You'd be exposed to different kinds of animals. There'd be different kinds of birds. So I mean, we're trying to make that a much more accessible option for folks, just year round, really.
Yeah. So what would you like to see happen over the next few years for the Gold Museum?
Well, hopefully we'll get past this little bump in the road with the coronavirus, and we will get back to doing big tour groups. That's always been I've always liked seeing big tour groups. So we'd like to bring in, get on some of the bus trails. We're also really excited about working with Uncorked and anybody else to produce something unique and different from the bees. I love the idea that it could be something that starts off quite literally as a local product, as in the flowers and vines that are up there on our mountain, and then it ends up in something that's in downtown Villa Rica that you can only get here, that is produced by folks that lived here. That really just thrills me. It's exciting to think about. We've got a lot of bigger construction projects that are in the works that are moving forward, including the construction of a barn, which will allow us to have, for the first time ever, a really nice petting zoo with animals. And again, if you think about animals, that ticks off all those check boxes of, touch, feel, smell, that kind of thing. We're also going to be opening up the big mine shaft for physical visitation, and that's going to take the construction of a great big staircase that goes down into the pit. So, I mean, all of that's projected out over 5 years. And it's going to be a tremendous amount of work, but there's really not that much in this area that fulfills the same kind of purpose. It does the same kind of job that we do. And so we're doing more than a traditional museum is in terms of what we offer, but that's, an acceptable thing, totally fine.
Yeah. I don't know if you've thought about it. Alicia's still on here. She's not on the stream. I can add her real quick. But if you thought about giving Alicia something to honey baked smoked ham for Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah, that's certainly a possibility.
Yeah, so, you could give some of the honey over to Alicia, and she could smoke up a bunch of hams and sell them for Thanksgiving.
Well, we've had several people tell us that while they enjoyed the idea of us just having the bottled honey, and we produce honey in a couple of different size bottles, but there's several people that have asked for a barbecue sauce with the base. And I know less than nothing about barbecue sauce, so I mean that might be a natural for those guys, though.
Absolutely.
Again, honey. Another collaboration in the works. I love it.
And I'll only take a small commission for this. Very small.
And we'll pair it with a flight of fabulous wine from Uncorked.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, the simple fact of the matter is that the more everyone works together, the better off for everybody. It's not a matter of individual egos. We're all going to rise and fall based upon how we work with each other. And the good news is that by far the most of the businesses are willing to jump on that bandwagon and continue to grow. So we got nothing but opportunity. I love to walk around saying it all day long. We're literally sitting on a gold mine. It's I'm only half joking because, but.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. It seems that with Villa Rica, everybody is working for the greater good, and all the business owners are there trying to help everybody else out. I mean, You're not looking out just for yours and the heck with everybody else. You're all the business owners seem like they really are interested in everybody succeeding, which is refreshing because you don't always see that. And
Yeah.
but I think it shows there, and it shows that Villa Rica is probably going to, over the next few years, grow as a destination that people are going to want to visit.
Absolutely. Bob, any final thoughts?
No, I want to bring Sharon on and let Sharon tell us why in the world should somebody come there, besides what we've all been talking about for the last hour. I'm gonna give her 5 minutes to do her stump speech on visiting Villa Rica.
It won't take 5 minutes. I got one phrase for you. Visit Villa Rica. It's an amazing time.
Well said.
We are
Bravo.
VR. That's our tag. We are VR.
Well
Hopefully
said.
I can get back there soon because I'd love to come back and visit.
Well, we're excited to have you all back. Can't wait to get you back.
Yes.
We'll have some fritters ready for you.
Did you
No.
hear that?
Yeah,
What did he say, Sharon?
Randy said we'll have some fritters ready
there
for
we
you.
go.
I love it. You better have a big old bottle of wine too.
Yes.
We just got our new wine and it is fantastic.
And some egg rolls, barbecue egg rolls.
Okay,
That's right.
so I'm sensing that this might have to be a community event.
Perfect.
We can do it. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank y'all so much. And again, today we were speaking with Sharon DuPont from Visit Villa Rica. We were talking with Melissa, Joey, and Randy Muller of Uncorked and the Other Side Steakhouse. And we were speaking with Alicia from Evans Barbecue. And in a proverbial Southern way, y'all come back and visit Villa Rica real soon because it's a really cool spot that, as Sharon so eloquently put, it's an amazing find.
Yeah, and if you get a chance to visit, you should really go there because they do have a lot to offer. And the first stop you need to make is the CVB. Stop in, see Sharon,
Absolutely.
all the right directions.
I agree. Bob, thanks so much for co-hosting another episode of Adventure Wise Media in Villa Rica.
Y'all take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, y'all.